And I created the Sandlot crew as adults because that's the type of stuff that I do when I'm bored. I was going to create the entire team, like the colors and everything, in a stadium, like the Sandlot Stadium, but it started taking too much time. So I was just like, I'm just going to go ahead and put them on the Dodgers because that makes the most sense to me. They have stats already because I needed highlights for the beginning of this video. So I did play a few games, but nothing too crazy. So my plan is to see if they can win the World Series. If, in a different universe they were growing up in the early 2000s and I don't know, they were drafted by the Dodgers and they're in their 20s now. But whatever. Here's Benny the Jet Rodriguez. I tried to blend his young face with his adult face from the movie, but instead I feel like I created an elf of some sort, but it works for me. Elves are the original. I gotta say though, his stance is solid. It's pretty much exactly like the movie. I want to highlight his kicks because MLB The Show doesn't have PF Flyers, unfortunately, but I feel like he'd be a Nike guy. But anyway, Benny's obviously the greatest baseball player of all time, so I gave him pretty much 90 everything. He's a pull hitter because every hit he had in the movies pretty much was pulled, so obviously we're trying to be as realistic as possible. So yeah, he's pretty unstoppable. If he doesn't win the MVP, then this game's broken. So next up we got Hamilton Porter, great Hambino. I'm proud of myself on this one. I feel like if he had a face scan, this is as close as it'd probably get. So kudos to me. But anyway, I'm not here to suck my own dick. I gave him the Babe Ruth batting stance because it may, obviously. And as you can see here, he's going to be flying around the base pads. And his walk-up music is metal. Why wouldn't it be? And then he does silly stuff when he gets a home run. Because he's goofy.
I'm a goofy goober. You're a goofy goober. We're all goofy goobers.
So anyway, let's get to his attributes. He's a whole field hitter, decent contact, and obviously, superpower. The rest of his stats are just decent. Obviously, he's slow as shit. But he's got a good arm, good reaction, good catcher. And his base running is trash. But next up is one of my favorites. Yeah. I felt horrible doing that. That's yeah. And I think this is pretty accurate. I know the real life him kind of grew up and started taking steroids and shit. But now, in my world, he's an absolute Chad. He's a beast shortstop though. I gave him like crazy contact. Power not so great. But everything else is solid. It's a solid dude. I do want to point out though, I lowered his batting clutch because he dropped the ball when he saw the beast instead of throwing over the fence, which was definitely not clutch. But overall, he's one of the best players. Hopefully, maybe he'll win like a Golden Glove or something. Next, we got our pitcher, Kenny Denunez. He was a little bit more difficult to make, so I kind of based it off of his older self. But he throws straight heaters, everything. It's all just fastballs, cutter, sinker. He's just straight up heaters. That's all he throws in the movie. I don't think he ever does any curveballs or anything. Next up, we have Scotty Smalls. I like this one. Once he stops making this duck face, there we go. He looks innocent, pure, nice little comb over lineup. It's pretty cool. I gave him basic gear, like a turtleneck, because I feel like that's what he wears or would wear, and then a basic stance, because he's timid. As for his attributes, he's a pull hitter because he only, he kept hitting it over the wall, and everything's pretty basic. He's not very clutch because again, he doesn't have that dog in him, But overall, I feel like he, after hanging with Benny for years, he'd probably, pick up a few tips, He might become something great. And he only learned how to hit within like a day. So anyway, now we got Bert, the other nerdy guy. I put him at third base because he's tall. I gave him a beard and long hair because he, got into the 60s, they said at the end of the movie. So I gave him a whole bunch of like colorful shit and like glasses that are like purple. So he'll probably be like high on shrooms or something each game. And then for his stats, he's pretty mid at everything. I think his overall is like 80 or something. But I just didn't know much about him, so just made him average at everything. He has an arm though. He's a good arm. He's tall. Can't be tall and have a bad arm. And then next we have another one of my favorites, Squints, the guy. I also made him an absolute Chad, but I felt second base would be a good spot for him. Him and Yeah were similar, and I feel like they would have good chemistry to pull off some double plays, which you saw in the intro. They did have some good chemistry, so I was right about that, even though I was controlling them. And then I got him doing some goofy stuff when he gets home runs too, because he's also goofy. But I also made him pretty solid. He has pretty good contact. He's similar to Yeah. Not very good power, pretty good contact. His plate vision is obviously good because of his bionic glasses. And he's got good discipline. He's not clutch either, but pretty quick. His fielding ability is ridiculous, so that's gonna be fun. I also just had a thought in this moment. He'd probably have his number as like 69. It just seems like something he would do because of like the whole pool incident. So yeah, now his number's 69. Next up we got Timmy Timmons. He's the older brother of the dude that always repeats him, and he was kind of odd to make. He has like a chubby face as a kid, so I didn't want to make him like a chubby guy. We already got one of them, so I kind of turned him into an absolute Chad also. I guess I'm just better at making Chads. But his attributes are also average. He's got some power, but everything else, kind of lame. He's not stealing any bases, and he's the first baseman, so all he's got to do is really catch the ball, and not let anything get past him. He's got those massive pecs, so he should be good. And then his brother, I just made a similar template and just made him look a little like sadder because like he has no personality, and all his gear is exactly the same as his brother's. Even his haircut was the same, so he's just like a copycat guy. And I made his stance kind of childlike also, like bat on the shoulder. Felt fitting. And he's definitely one of the more weaker players. I think his overall is like 76 or something. So he's going to be getting carried all season. And he's in right field, so I mean, I had nowhere else to put him. And he's also slow as shit, so he's not going to steal any bases. He's just going to be a boring player. He's just a boring player. And then that's it for, Sandlot guys. I did create Henry Rowan Gardner from the Rookie of the Year because I needed a relief pitcher or a closing pitcher, and I thought he would be good for it because he was also a kid at that time and playing baseball, so it just felt right. And then he just throws heaters also, so he's just straight heaters, just like Nunez. And so it's gonna be basically the same guy, just different color. And then so that's the squad. So it's gonna be pretty exciting to play with them and see what we can do. I also just remembered by looking it up that his number is actually number 1 in the movie, so I'm just changing that to 1. And I don't know why I had it at 12. But yeah, so now he's number 1. And then here's the batting order. It's the same for lefties and righties and no DH. Kenny Nunez is going to be our classic two-way player. Most of these are pretty self-explanatory, but I thought it was a pretty solid lineup. You can win a couple games like this. But anyway, this seems like a good spot to wrap up this video. If you made it this far, that's pretty cool. This will be like a part 1 type of thing. and I'll upload, maybe, but if this gets views and stuff, I'll upload more videos of the highlights through the season and see if we can make the playoffs. Maybe a World Series? Maybe? I'm playing on like veteran difficulty, which isn't too hard, isn't too easy either, so it'll be, I'll have to work for it at least, because this team isn't like, you know, the Yankees or anything. So yeah, go ahead and, you know, swing away at the subscribe button and throw your finger at the like button and all that cool stuff. And then maybe I'll upload more. And if not, I'll just make more Call of Duty videos.